So tell me, why wrestling?
Why wrestling? Oh my gosh, right? Because I could have done a million other things. So my story is a bit different than other people. I didn't really grow up watching wrestling. I did have cousins that watch wrestling, so like I knew of it, and
Yeah.
we always like played wrestling on the trampoline and stuff. But I didn't find wrestling till I was 23 or 24.
Okay.
I bartended at this bar called Cheers, and Monday nights the guys would watch it every
Yeah.
Monday night. It wasn't really my father committed suicide,
Oh,
and I took like
sorry.
it's part of my story, so it's definitely like
Okay.
something that like it was tough, but wrestling is something that helped me get through that. So when he passed, the first day I came back to work, wrestling was on TV, and this is when I really took notice of it. For the first time, it made me feel something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going through a lot and just like a lot of emotions, and I looked up and it made me feel something. Like I got really into it. So every Monday I enjoyed going to work and watching wrestling.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I can do this. I'm going to do this. So 6 months after he passed, I just started looking up schools, and I found OVW in Louisville, Kentucky, and I packed up my Honda Civic and I got my ass on down there.
Good for you. And where are you from originally? Where were you born?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So how old were you when you packed up and you moved down to OVW?
23. I think I was 23 or 24. I don't remember now.
So pre-wrestling, what were your loves? Did you go to college? Did you do music? Like anything outside of wrestling? What were your loves?
So I was a hairdresser. I still am. I'm a barber now. But I went to school to do hair. It's very helpful in wrestling to know how to do hair and makeup.
For sure. Wow. Okay. So party girl, okay, and then that makes sense for the bartending and everything. So you've always been one to like make quick money.
Yeah, I'm a hustler. Like that is my thing. I'm a hustle job kind of person.
And that's what I was going to say. That's very good applicable education for the professional wrestling business, because you have to be your own manager, marketer, self-advocate.
Manage your own time kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely was a good thing that I did that. And the bartending, like it comes in handy. I'm like quick-witted because of it.
Yeah, for sure. No. I think that's huge. Like that you're in a world where you have to handle yourself with both men and women, predominantly men. And being a bartender, you're no fool. You know how to read people, and that will help you leaps and bounds, girlfriend.
For sure.
So how long did you train for before you had your first professional match?
So I hear a lot of people say they train for a year and this and that, but OVW was like, oh, okay, 3 months. Here you go. Here's your first match. And yeah, 3 months. I was awful because I didn't
your baby.
Watching it. Yeah. I didn't grow up watching it, so I didn't really know what it was. So I was trying to figure out what it was, who I was.
Mm-hmm. For sure. You know what? I don't think there's a magic number. I think it's totally per person. But the problem is if you get pushed into it too soon, you don't know who you are. You don't know what you want to put out there. There's like so much. But then, it's, you're being thrown into the deep end. So that might be how you learn.
For sure. Like I know other people like that too, that were just like thrown into wrestling and they hadn't been training very long. And a lot of times people see you fall on your face before you're able to walk.
Yeah. And
that's okay.
You know what? People think that can be your career ender if you get pushed out there too soon and then that's your reputation. That's complete bullshit, because really it's how you grow from there. That is all part of the learning curve. Like no one goes out there and has a stellar match their first time and they don't get the right gimmick first. Like it is a work in progress.
Oh, it's trial and error. I'm sure you've changed so much throughout your career. It's just like you don't have a choice but to evolve and figure. Sometimes you're figuring out what works, and a lot of times you're figuring out what isn't working.
Exactly. So you packed up your car, you moved down to Louisville, you trained at OVW, pushed into a match 3 months into your career. Now tell me about the highlights. Like, how long have you been like wrestling now?
So 8 years now.
Wow.
I know. I just can't believe the time feels like it's just flown by. So I stayed there for about 2 years and I've kind of moved everywhere. I've definitely like a gypsy soul. Like I love going different places.
You have to have a gypsy soul to be in this business. You are a nomad. Like nowhere is home anymore.
Yeah. I have friends all the time and they're always like, what's your best advice for wrestling? I'm like, you need to like just go, not be afraid to do things. You need to be like willing to pack your car and be like, you know what? I'm just going to move to LA. I'm going to train here for a while. I'm going to move here. I'm going to do this. Like you got to be able to go with the flow.
Absolutely. So outside of America, have you got to do any international travel?
I have. 2019, I spent 4 months at Marvelous in Japan.
Nice.
Tell
me about it. Please tell me all the details.
So it's intense. It's very intense. Yeah. We woke up at 9, had breakfast, 10 o'clock, training till noon. That was just like cardio and core training. Then we took a break for lunch, which was about 2 hours. I'd usually like just scarf down some food, take a nap, and then we went for in-ring training. And that was anywhere between 2 and 3 hours.
That sounds fantastic. Like for, at this point in your career, I'm sure you're just like, this is my life. This is what I want. It's like school. It is legitimately wrestling school where it is your everyday, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Now, how often were you also doing shows?
So we did 2 to 3 shows a week. So I wrestled for Marvelous and then they would outsource me to other indie companies in Japan, which was really cool. The nice thing was you didn't have to train the day after a show.
That's good.
I'm like, yes, recovery day. You look for recovery day. And of course, I'm in Japan, so I didn't really do recovery day. I'm like, I'm going to explore Japan. I'm going to see everything. I'm going to eat everything.
Good for you. Good for you. You really do have a gypsy spirit. Once you're there, you're in it. You're not.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to your hotel room and getting McDonald's like some of my American friends do when they're international.
No, I like engulfed myself in the culture. I think it made it easier too. I was the only foreigner from at the time, actually. They didn't have any other foreign girls there.
Wow.
So just me. I met an Australian girl named Alex Lee while I was over there.
Okay.
And she took me around and she showed me everything. And like, I don't know. I felt like it was definitely my eat, pray, love of my life. I really found myself there.
And that's what I tell young girls coming up. Like my Japan was Mexico. Sarah Stock or Sarita.
So awesome.
Yeah. So she ended up taking me there when she was, I was probably just turned 19 and I was there for 3 months. And then 6 years later, she was my tag team partner and we won the belt. But anyways, being out of your comfort zone, of your home, of your country, and training in a completely different way, training with girls with English is not their first language. Everyone wants to believe that professional wrestling's a work and it's not real. And we talk about everything. Then how do we put matches together with people that don't speak the same language as us?
Exactly.
And it's such a beautiful experience. I always say you need, like, obviously COVID has changed the dynamic of the world, but like, traveling, no matter how old you are for wrestling, is life-changing in the best possible way.
It so is. I just feel like I learned so much about myself. I feel like things just started clicking because, like you said, we don't speak the same language. So you had to go off body language. A lot of times we weren't like talking about things. We just wrestled.
Yeah.
And I learned how to wrestle there.
Yeah.
Before great. I was always like this character. And then like I came back, I'm like, oh, I'm a wrestler now.
How nervous were you before your first Japanese like professional match?
Oh my gosh. I thought I was going to pass out. I just couldn't believe it. Luckily, my first match was with a girl that spoke English.
Okay, great.
But my second match was a tag match. And I'm sure you know, like, because in Mexico and Japan, the matches are insane. Tag matches are insane. They're not anything like American tag.
No. Like 3 falls, 30 minutes minimum. And you're like,
oh, yeah. Running the whole time.
Yeah.
It's intense.
You get home in the best shape you've ever been in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I had cardio for days.
Yeah. And in Mexico, too, is like the elevation. And I thought I had great cardio when I went to Mexico. And then the first match, I was like, I might vomit. And then someone threw a beer in my face mid-match. And I was like, okay, I can do this.
I'm back.
Yeah. Now, what about the dynamic of the crowd? Because for our listeners who don't know, Japanese audiences are very respectful. They're very quiet. They wait for something and then they clap. It's not the conventional hoo-ha, show us a big special move. How is that culturally to integrate into?
So weird, because like here we think like when they're being quiet, and I'm realizing this here in the United States too. Whenever you're actually just wrestling, the fans are quiet because they're watching. Yeah. So I'm starting to get not insecure about that. But at first I was like, oh my God, they're not awful. They're not reacting to me. They hate me. But over time, I started bringing out my personality more, and they started reacting to it. They're like, like, but it's so different. It's like, they're very quiet. They really are. They're watching. They want to be entertained, but just because they're not reacting doesn't mean they're not into it.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what we're trained to do. Like we're supposed to vibe off the audience, and there's zero vibe. But there's a ton of vibe, but it's different vibe.
Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe, but like everything's different.
Yeah,
everything's different there. Mexico, they're loud too, though, aren't they?
Oh my God,
like so loud.
They're so loud and so interactive. Like Japan, Japan and Mexico are polar opposites when it comes to the fans in wrestling. Like on independent shows in Mexico, they they want you to be thrown into the bleachers. They want to throw their beer at you. But it's all signs of respect, and they're enjoying it. And they're so loud, but it's all love. Like it's like, honestly, it was like I left Mexico, and still to this day, I'm 35 years old. I'm hoping to retire early from firefighting one day. And I don't know what I'm going to do in wrestling and entertainment, but I know I'm not done. I still would like to retire in Mexico because I think that the people are so beautiful. They have a lot of people have so little, but they have family, and they have love, and they have music, and they love wrestling and sports. And I don't know, something about the culture there just really spoke to me. And they have so much fun, and they don't give a shit.
The thing I watch when I watch like lucha matches, like the crowd is so interactive. It's so fun. I haven't got to go yet. That's on my list.
Oh, good.
Definitely somewhere I need to go.
Yeah, please. I 5-star review, 10 out of 10, I recommend. So what's your ultimate goal? Like when I first started in the business, it was like, okay, I want to work for WWE. That was where I wanted to go. But that changed. Where are you right now? Like you don't have to say what company, but
very much the same as like you said, like when I first started, I knew a little bit about independent wrestling.
Yeah.
But so the first company I went to, because I looked at schools, I was like, this is college. I looked at schools. The first school I went to, they said, we have top indie stars. I'm like, 1,000 indie star, not going there. I went to OVW. They're like, oh, WWE. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. Right. So like my main goal was WWE. And then at the time, OVW was it was TNA, I think, still at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a TNA territory school. So I was like, oh, maybe that too. That's TV. That's cool.
Yeah.
Right now, I really love that 2019, I was in Japan. I was in China, done multiple tours up in like the Maritimes and Canada. Like,
oh, cool.
Love to get back to international travel.
Yeah.
But like school-wise, I would like to be featured more on a TV show. I don't need to be signed, but I'd like to be
the exposure.
Yeah, I'd like a little bit more exposure, more of a platform for myself.
That's great. I think wrestling is such in a different place right now. You don't have to be contracted.
You don't.
Like this whole, it is beautiful. It's this whole new world of being this freelance, but you're a superstar. It's completely different, and it allows for you to have freedom.
It's so cool, especially like because I love doing hair, so I'm happy that I'm able to cut hair and bullshit with my clients, and like they love that I wrestle. They love to hear my stories, and I love to have stories to give them.
Yeah,
I kind of like having both. It gives me a balance. I'm a Libra, so.
Oh, you're okay. I get that then. I think there's something really important in grounding as a professional wrestler, because it's so easy to get lost in the culture, in the heartache, to have something else. And
100%.
Yeah. And I don't know, like I always said when I was training girls for a little bit, have an education, but that's that's neither here nor there, especially in our world. Education, as long as you have a work ethic and you have something you can invest in outside of wrestling, something that gives you happiness and stability, like I think you are so smart for having hair and have kept it up, because you could have just been like, no, it's wrestling, only wrestling.
I quit for a while, but COVID definitely put me back into a position where I was like, you know what? Like this does, and like you're saying, you need something other than wrestling because it can cause a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
So having both, and it is very grounding.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, I'm
definitely need that.
You need it. I won't keep you long, but I like to end every episode with my 10 tailor-made questions. It's kind of a speed round, but don't feel rushed.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Name one beauty product you cannot live without.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard because I love all of them so much. Mascara for sure. I love having lashes. I just got my eyebrows done, but before that it would have been eyebrow pencil.
How much has your life improved since you've had your eyebrows done?
So it's only been 6 days, but it's drastically cut down time. And I wake up and I'm like, I have eyebrows. You're like me too, so you get it.
So I got mine done about 3 years ago, and then I've had it done again since. It lasts about a year and a half, 2 years. Yeah, my eyebrows were done, and we lived through Pamela Anderson showing us that you only needed yeah. So Pamela Anderson basically created this movement where she didn't know, but she created a career called microblading that is now in business because of 2021 and the 90s overwaxed eyebrows. So
really did. I remember they used to be like these like pencil lines. It went like, I looked like an angry pumpkin all the time.
And Gwen Stefani too. Like, why, girl?
Why they do this to us?
Why did you make me do that? Totally. and then I had to pay for someone to put my eyebrows back on permanently. I feel you. Okay. What is your favorite exercise?
I love but hate squats, goblet squats.
Oh, goblet squats specifically because you got to hold that weight. And yeah.
But I feel like that's like my go-to every leg day.
You need to squat. Girls got to
squat. Got to squat.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
People that make excuses.
Yeah, I feel
just say sorry, move on. I don't like excuse makers.
Like you hit my core with that. It's just like people that don't take responsibility for things.
Yes. It's like own it and then let it go.
I could do a whole podcast episode about that. So I'm gonna move on. Who is your celebrity crush?
Zac Efron.
Oh, good one. Good one. What is your favorite band or artist?
That's so hard. I'm very like diverse on my music. I'm all over the place. I really love Zakk Wylde. I like Ozzy and I like Zakk Wylde a lot. Specifically, I just think he's such an amazing guitar player. I don't love everything he's ever done, but like I love his guitar playing skills.
I met Zakk Wylde because of TNA. Yes.
And he loves wrestling too.
He loves wrestling. And I was like, you're Zakk Wylde. I'm Taylor Wilde. I'm making an ass out of myself. I'm such a huge fan. And like, this was in 2007. And I felt like, by age, no one really knew who he was besides me and like Frankie Kazarian and a few of the older guys. But yeah, like I feel you. I feel you on the music.
And then I read his biography and it just like his hustle.
Yeah.
Like I want to match that hustle. He talked about how he would like get his band t-shirts and he sent them out on his own. Like the thing he did was on his own to make money. And I'm like, oh, I think it's more of like a respect thing for that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you have a secret vice, like drinking a glass of wine in the shower?
What is my secret vice? I'm sure I do have one.
And if you don't?
I mean, I do love my tequila shots.
Oh, okay. Well, and as a bartender, I'm sure.
Yeah. So yeah, if I feel like and I'm in a social situation and I'm uncomfortable, I'll be like, quick one, let's go.
I like that.
With courage.
What wrestler has the best entrance music?
Why Why am I struggling with this?
No pressure. Take your time.
We'll come back to that one.
Okay. Or just pass. Pass is fine. What is your drink of choice? I think we've covered that.
Oh, it's just straight up tequila.
What was your most embarrassing moment in the ring?
Oh gosh, this happened early. We were doing, this goes to show like how wrestling has changed so much in the past 8 years. Yeah. One of my first matches was a bikini battle royal.
Oh God.
Yeah. So,
bikini battle. How many girls? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
I think there were 10 of us. This was at OVW.
Okay.
I think there were 10. I was really skinny, so I had like no boobs. So one of the girls like put the cutlets in for me. And so mine came out while I was wrestling. So like, it was just like laying in the ring and I just had one boob. It was great.
Oh no. So you didn't like pick them up and like whip them at an opponent or anything?
I didn't even notice.
Oh no.
I didn't notice until someone was like laughing at the end of the thing. They're like, oh, look, and there's a titty in the ring. There's a titty in the ring. And I'm like looking and I'm like, it's fine.
You know what? You're not the first person and you're not the last person.
Exactly.
You're going to lose a cutlet or an extension or a tampon string. Like, this is a business where shame goes away. In the very
no shame.
Okay, last one. Finish this lyric. Generals gathered in their masses.
Oh my gosh, this is Aussie.
Yep.
Something about black masses?
Yes, just like witches at black masses. You got it. Yeah, that counts.
I've been on an Aussie kick lately.
Have you? I think like I always wait until I hear what your favorite artist is, and then I was thinking, okay, like Aussie, Zach Wilde, like she'll get this. Where can our listeners find you on the interwebs?
So on Instagram, it's Raystar5, RAYSTAR 5, and Twitter would be at Ray RAY_Lynn LYN.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for taking that.
Thank you. It was fun.
Raylyn has an inspirational story, one that starts from a place of hurt, sensitivity, and vulnerability. She found solace and healing in professional wrestling. I don't think there's many professional wrestlers who haven't felt saved by the sport at some point in their lives. I have, more than once now. I just understand that it really is a tribe. It's a whole other world. And it's not just because wrestling is weird. It's because people are weird. And we're misfits. And we don't fit in anywhere else. And our viewers and our fans, a lot of them feel the same way too. I hope you enjoy the content that I bring every week on Wilde On. And I couldn't do this without my own band of misfits, my punk rock girl band, the Wilde On team. Rochelle Douris, my right-hand woman, my queen. Madison Gulshani, my marketing specialist. And for the things all in between, Rebecca Levinson. I love you, ladies. Till next week, stay calm,